morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Conness. Sorry for the late start, a little bit of technical hitches here and there, but the show must go on. This morning we're going to be discussing about books. I don't know whether you've ever wanted to be an author, but if you have, this is the time to, get some inspiration from somebody who has not written one book, has not written two books, but has written 6 books. Her name is Grace Babra. Karibu sana.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So, before even I delve into these things of books, when did you discover?
I can write.
Yeah.
Days of primary composition.
Mm-hmm.
My composition always used to be the best in class, and teacher used to read it. So she kept saying, in fact, shout out to Mrs. Ambetsa. She always used to say, "You'll be a good writer. I enjoy your compositions." And it continued all the way to high school. My compositions were still the ones which were being read in class, like top composition. And I'll be like, "Whoo, I think there's something here." And then I used to journal a lot. A lot. I like journaling till
You should
today.
try red lorry, yellow lorry.
I will not go that direction. Hey, I beg.
So you journaled,
Yeah, I like journaling till now. Anything that happens, I like writing. If I see anything interesting, I want to write about it. So yeah, that's how it all began.
Yeah. So in primary. But
Yep.
then by the time you get into the real aspect of writing
Yes.
a book, that's a whole different story. Which was your first book?
My first book was The Faithful God.
The Faithful God.
I think you have it there. Yeah.
How long did this take?
That took me 2 days.
Really?
To write it.
People say,
Because I had already
you-
conceptualized it.
Yeah.
And I had been thinking, and then it was a season I had seen the faithfulness of God consistently. So there's even an album to it, a gospel album to it. So I kept putting things together. And so it just built up into the book. So when I started typing and writing, boom, I just needed 2 days to do it.
Okay.
The publishing took a bit longer, of course, but writing it, I just took 2 days.
We're speaking with Grace Babra, and we're discussing about the art of authoring books. She's a lady who has authored 6 books, and she's here to talk about them. When we went on the break, she was just telling us about how, she began the journey of writing.
Yeah.
So you say this first book took you 2 days
To write.
to write.
Yeah.
But you've been mulling
publishing-
about it in your mind for how long?
It was a season of seeing God's faithfulness. So it built up, maybe 6 months thereabout, consistently, as in every day you wake up, you're like, the greater virtue that you're seeing about God is his faithfulness. So that's how it came about. Then God even gave me some songs to it. So if you buy that book, you also get a gospel album with it, same title, The Faithful God. And so that's how it became. Yeah, for that particular one, yeah. About 6 months of
intense thoughts and...
Yeah, of seeing the faithfulness of God. And as I told you, I like journaling.
Yeah.
So I'd see, okay, today God did this. So now when I came to write the book, the thoughts were already in my spirit. So
Yeah.
it was just, yeah.
So there are many
And then I
people-
love art,
Yeah.
so I would design everything, I would do everything. I just take to the publishers for printing.
So you wrote about the faithfulness of God, and then what was your second book?
The one you're holding right now.
About the promises on healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that one, it was birthed by my grandpa, who I was his best friend and his co-caregiver. He got sick, and he was really, his life changed when he got unwell. So I started looking for scriptures, turning pages in the Bible, looking for anything to do with healing. That time there was no Uncle Google to help.
I can
So
imagine.
you do literal, you check any part with healing in the Bible, and I would underline, and I would give it to him to read on daily basis. But now it was too much giving him the big Bible every time and looking for where there was a red line. So we decided, with him actually, why don't you put it into a book? Then at least I can read the book. And I was like, eureka moment. So I compiled all the scriptures to do with healing, and I gave it to him. So it used to be like our daily bread. When he was feeling down, he'd pick it, read, get a scripture, memorize, and run with it. Yeah, and he got better. Unfortunately, or fortunately, he went to be with the Lord, but he was much stronger by the time he was going.
And so that, but
He would have gone earlier.
And you made it into a little small handbook.
Yes, because now,
Very
you
good.
see, for my Guka, you don't need a big, Guka is grandpa, you don't need a big thing. And then it was just to help him, even to put in his coat when he's going for a walk. If he sits on the bench, he can remove it, read a scripture. If he goes to a restaurant to have tea, or he loved taking porridge, he would go take his porridge and remove the booklet and read the scripture.
And go through it.
Yeah, so it's a handy book when you're, and then when you're unwell, you don't want bulk. You want something easy, something light. Your water and your notebook. You go see the doctor, go back home, or you are at home in the bed or on the couch.
Yeah.
You don't need something too big. You need just something to help you, push you. You can testify about that book, by the way.
I know.
You have a testimony on that book.
I know. This book was really helpful when I was battling cancer. Then you proceeded on.
Yes, I did not stop there.
What came
and I
next?
don't intend to stop there. After the tears.
After the tears.
Yes.
Why the title After the Tears?
That one now is like a compilation of different testimonies, my own and other people, about the tears they have gone through in their lives, the tears they have shed, tears of agony, of pain, of sorrow, of tough moments, and they came out of it by the grace of God. So I'm in that category where I've seen God wiping my tears in one way or another.
Yes.
And he has come through in a very special way. And so back to my journaling, I'll be like, hey, I cried this time, God helped me, I write it down. I cried this time, God helped me, I write it down. So I was wondering, what should I call this book? Should I call it My Testimonies? What I have seen? This one I battled with titles. But I met Pastor Rawlings, who helped me to come up with the title better. So it was like, it has a lot of tears. So why don't you write Life After Tears? So it was like, Life After Tears. Let's remove the life part. So we just said After the Tears. So that's how it came about. So it has my testimonies and other people's testimonies about how they overcame different challenges. Yeah. This one has sold the most from the ones I've written so far. I think people love encouragement, and God has called me to be an encourager. So that
Maybe
has
there's
really
something there.
worked. Yeah.
People do love encouragement.
They do. Because every time we go through issues, we go through things, you want to hear that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
That someone went through something and
that
they
they
got out of
actually
it.
came out of it. Yeah. And some things are relatable. So somebody can read and like, huh? You lost a loved one, you came out of it. You divorced, you came out of it. You lost a baby, you came out of it. You were thrown out of your house, you came out of it. You were auctioned everything, you were bankrupt, you came out of it. People like such stories. And most of them are in that book. So it would really motivate, inspire, and encourage someone a lot.
That's good to know.
Even me, I read it sometimes. I'm like,
And you're like, ilikuwa ni mimi?
and I read, I'm like, oh, phew, thank you, Jesus. I'll get out of this.
So, but that didn't stop there.
No, it can't. It's not even stopping anytime soon.
So, and between, by the way, by the time you wrote these 3 books, how much time has passed?
After the Faithful God was about 2008. So from 2008 till now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been writing like maybe every 1.5 years
Every
or
2 years or so.
Yeah. So then you wrote what?
Then the white one. Devote
Death or divorce. What informs this
Devote or
divorce? Yeah.
A bit of my story and a bit of what I've seen in ministry. I've done ministry like all my life. And most of the things, most of the challenges that you encounter from people's lives are relational. Either from home or marital or friendships. Relationships have a kaudo, something, you know.
By the way, relationships have been talked about since the beginning of man.
Yes, time immemorial.
And yet, even now, we have so many problems
with the relationships.
With relationships. I mean, you just need to turn the newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should.
And just see, there are jokes even going around about marriage. People say, the number one cause of divorce is marriage.
Because if you don't get married, you will get divorced.
So they're like, don't get in.
But again, like, you can't stay out of it.
Yeah,
then you're like, hey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something.
And I always tell them, look, at any given moment, there are thousands of planes in the sky.
You're right.
But the only one we hear about
is the one that crashes.
True.
And
I think the same opines with marriage.
Imagine,
there are many working marriages.
There are so many. It's true. There are very many.
But the ones that crash are the ones that they crash loudly.
They boom. They explode. Hey.
So now unasema hey, staki.
Staki hapo waki.
So
but
this
actually,
book,
it's true.
drawn from your own.
Sorry, there's someone who was saying, if you want to open a supermarket, don't go and consult somebody who closed the kiosk.
Yeah, true.
True. So there are people who want to enter into marriage, but their marriage is a supermarket kind of marriage, but they are consulting from somebody who fungada kibanda.
They can't get the right
there's no way that one will encourage them.
Yeah, but you draw this from your life.
A bit, yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
The elephant in the room. Many years ago, probably even some people don't know about it, but I was married and it didn't last for long. One of our greatest challenges was I did not conceive immediately.
When you say it didn't last, we're talking how long?
6 months, guy. What? Hey.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe I talked to a Kibanda guy.
6 months.
6 good. No, they were not good. 6 months. That felt like 20 years, 26 years.
They must have. When you're in trouble, every hour is a day.
Oh, Christ. Where? So now, from their culture, I married to a different culture. So in their culture, a child is very critical.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to get a honeymoon baby.
Yes. Solidifies that.
It solidifies.
Yeah.
And then it was a man of God. So the expectations are like 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
So month 1, baby is not coming. So trouble started month 2. Then in that month 2, there was post-election violence. Then I was this tribe in another tribal place where I'm not supposed to be. and
all those things came
now
to bear.
that those clashes were also inborn, they were also in the house. And then during the time when people were being evicted and all that stuff, my ex-husband at that time had gone to a prayer center. So I was alone in the middle of enemies, if you can call it like that. You can't run, you can't move, you can't do anything. Thank God I had done a lot of shopping in the house. So I stayed in the house for 40 days without coming out, no contacts. You can't switch on the lights because your neighbors will know you're from this tribe and you're around and you're alone and you shouldn't be here. It was chaotic. So by the time he was coming back, it's like, lazima aende kama akupati mbegu arudi kwao. So it was really crazy. So outside pressure, inside pressure, the two of us pressure, it
fell apart.
It just.
But then you write the book.
But it was really crazy.
It's interesting title, Devote or Divorce.
Yeah.
Some would say, but you're a reverend.
Yes.
You shouldn't have the or divorce part.
True. Actually, that statement came quite often from that book.
It did, didn't it?
It
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
and that propelled me to do a volume 2 of that
the
book.
Sanhedrin will still, I can imagine. They'll skin you alive on this one.
They did. The Christendom people did.
Yeah, it's a pretty feisty.
But the outside people didn't. They were like, hey, Abu, bring it on. But so a church will like, maybe you're encouraging it or not.
Yeah.
Indirectly,
You know, I haven't told my viewers that you are
indirectly.
an ordained minister.
Yes, I am.
A reverend.
True.
Who preaches and joins people in marriage and...
Imagine. But I was ordained after.
Yeah. After this controversial book.
So it actually empowers me a lot, because now you're able to give both sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, unless you PTR something, you go through something, you cannot be able to help somebody in that pain or in that predicament.
Yeah.
So, and also it opens your eyes, because one thing I realize is that when you're very born again and very spiritual, it's very easy to be extremely judgmental. So somebody can come and say, my marriage is not working, and your first inclination is, have you fasted about it? Have you prayed about it? Have you sought God about it?
Have you repented?
What sin have you committed such that God is not intervening in your marriage? And all those, when somebody comes in pain, they are darts of judgment.
Yeah.
So, but when somebody comes and tells me, hey, Babra, Nikunoma, things are not happening, I'm like, okay, let's have tea. Let's have chips. I love potatoes. Let's have Black Forests. Let's talk.
Yeah.
What's not happening?
You know, I take comfort from the fact that, biblically speaking, because I tend to be a part-time scholar of the word.
Yes.
God has used a lot of failures.
True that.
People who had, for lack of better words, a bad reputation.
The worst, actually.
I mean,
sometimes.
Moses had killed somebody before he showed up, before God.
True.
And he wasn't even speaking well.
Imagine,
he
with
had
a
to get
stammerer.
someone to talk on his behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go through the Bible, you'll find numerous episodes of people like that.
Who messed up.
Who've messed up, but picked up. Even Paul, who wrote us really great epistles.
Because he was really messed up.
Yes, in fact, he had a PhD
in messing up.
In messing up. So I think books like this are important in terms of just being real with people, because all of us have got a flaw somewhere.
That's true.
Something went wrong at some point. We just overcame it, but not too many of us share it.
No.
And certainly, even fewer write a book about it.
Of course. You don't want to expose your failures. Yeah. No one ever wants to.
Well packaged and
Because like now, when you're a person of the collar like me, you want to protect that collar with everything that there is. But I came to realize, when you're real, you reach more people. When you're real, you turn more lives. When you're real, you have more impact.
So for people who read like Devote or Divorce, does it help marriage, or does it make them run for the exit door?
It helped 50-50. The others were like, hey, Babs, umetusaidia Jo. God help me.
Aki.
Mungu nisaidie, for those who pressed eject. Although there are those who will never work, Levi. There are those who will never work, and I'm not like advocating for it. No, me, I'm for pro. I'm for pro marriage, pro family, pro tuongezeke vile God alisema. But there are those who maybe they entered it wrong. Maybe there was pressure. Maybe there was age factors. The girl was too young. Then now she has realized, they were not ready, or culture forced them. Some of those things. So you can imagine if you are married off at 12, then by 18 unafunguka macho and you're like, hey, you want to change your life. There is no way you'll make that girl stay in that homestead. She will develop wings and she will fly off. But the better part is God is for marriage I am pro-marriage, I'm pro-family, and if it can work, the better. And it does work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to put more effort in it, more God, because he's the author, and not calling him only when there's trouble. You know, there are times we call God only when there's trouble. When the honey is good, when the moon is bright,
Yeah.
when everything is superb, you're like,
forget.
niko sawa, my man, woo! But when trouble hits, that's when you're like, hey, what does the Bible say about marriage? What does the Bible say about divorce? What does the Bible say about this thing? Call for me, Pastor Babra. Call for me, Pastor so-and-so. So we should not just call on God when there's trouble. We should involve him from the word go, and then he will guide us and help us.
Yeah.
And that's why now I rewrote the book to the next one, which is Devoted. So now it's not, there is no
Yeah. I'm coming there.
divorce. It's just
So you wrote Devoted after this?
Yes, way after.
After feedback, people read it, they told you what.
Feedback,
So you went and wrote a book.
And even when I read it also, I was like, let me encourage people to stay.
So you wrote
more than
Devoted
running
here.
out.
So this was Devote or Divorce.
Yeah.
And then this
Devoted.
was
Kandani. Unaenda wapi?
I like that.
Yeah. And then now this Devoted,
Yeah.
actually there was some insight from Pastor Rawlings again. He's a publisher with CFA Publishers. He helped me a lot to add volume to it. Like if you see Devote or Divorce, it's a petite book, but this is a bit kafat book. So it's like a
So ya
love
kutoka
journal.
ni kadogo lakini ya kukaa
Ya kukaa ni iko
ni kakubwa
iko
kiasi.
na mambo mzito. Ni ya mabazu, as people say nowadays. So it has quizzes you can do. It has ideas of how you can sizzle your sex life. It has ideas of how you can make your marriage work. It's like a love journal. It has stories of people who have made it. It has testimonies of people who are trusting God for a marriage partner and God blessed them. Those who are trusting God for babies and God blessed them. It has biblical inclination to it, and then it also has the psychological part. So it's like a mixed grill of some sort. It's a buffet. So you read it, if this, and then how did it come about? Good question I'm asking myself. It's from the acronym marriage. So the contents are, M is for maturity, then adoration, respect, responsibility, intimacy, acceptance, generosity, endurance. And then now I added a spiritual aspect to it, where it has positive confessions, prayers for marriage, and scriptures on marriage. So now from all those topics, now we have expounded on it. Yeah, it's a very intense book.
Great.
Yeah.
And finally, you've written a new book.
Yes. This is my new baby.
This one is called Along Came God.
Along Came God.
It sounds as if, you are stuck in a
On
a road somewhere.
This one now, it has to be a movie, for real. I'm even working on the script already. Along Came God is not even something that was a big episode. It was a very short episode. I don't even know how much time I have for this one. Let me just bring it down. So one time I was a bit unwell. Actually, I just got an attack on one particular day. And for 2 hours, I couldn't stop coughing. And it was way before COVID, even COVID came. For 2 hours, I was just coughing, wheezing, can't move, can't talk. And I was like, hey, this is strange. So a cousin of mine came from work. I was staying with her and my son. And she was like, hey, you don't look too good. It's like, I'm not so good. So she ran to the neighbors and was like, hey, come, we take Babs to the hospital. So they came, rushed me to the, thank God there's a hospital that's very close to my place. So I was rushed to the hospital. But before we got to the hospital, there had been a shootout just next to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So between my house and the hospital, there's a shootout. So somehow there's a crowd, there's cops, there's fear, there's a lot of manenos happening. Then so the driver, I guess, out of panic, adrenaline, uku, I'm not breathing, he managed to pass through the crowd and we entered the hospital. So when we entered the hospital, I just told him, go to the ER side. So we rushed quickly to the ER side. And when I was received at the ER, they thought I was one of the people who have come from the shootout. So they are checking if I'm bleeding, if I'm traumatized, if I'm hurt, or anything like that. But I wasn't. For me, it was just respiratory issues. So when they discovered that, they put me in the nebulizer and some injections of some sort. And as I was there, they were talking. And they were like, we kept thinking this lady is from that shootout. Because we hear whoever has been shot cannot survive. So we still need to keep the ER clear in case the victim comes. So in that moment, then in a flash, there was silence. So I was just, there was a bit of quietness. Then in an instance, this beautiful, angelic being, I've never seen anything as handsome as that. He was amazing, glorious, splendid. He just came. I was like, hi, Babra. I was like, hey, you even know my name. This is cool. It's like, hi. It's like, I want to take you for a walk. I was like, huh? So he stretched his hand, his right hand, and I stretched back mine, and he held my hand. So it's like I came out of myself, and we were walking. It's like we are walking in the air of some sort. And then we reached to a place where the heavens opened. And I was like, this is super beautiful. Oh God, maybe I've never seen anything so splendid, so splendorous. If there's a word like that, yani full of splendor, glorious, excellent, clean, no issues with the body, nothing. So I was like, where are we? And it's like, and then I'm like, it looks like heaven. And he's like, yeah, it could be. So I was like, tell me the truth. It can't be, it could be. It's either we are there or we are not there. I said, just relax, enjoy the moment. Like, cool, I'm enjoying this moment. I want to stay here forever. Then, Jesus, the Son of God, came. And he said, I sent him to come bring you to me. Like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, I preach about you every day. I've seen you for now. And I'm like, Yani, it was I don't even know how to explain it. It was amazing. It was awesome. So he's like, come, let's take a walk. I'm like, I'm taking a walk with God. Like, okay, cool. So he holds my hand. So the angel takes my hand and puts my hand in his hands. Mm-hmm. And so he takes over, and then we walk. And as we walk, everything is like paving way for us. And so beautiful, so glorious, so wonderful, so amazing. I'm like, hey, this is a life. So me, in my innocence, I'm like, Jesus, I'm glad my time has come, and I'm not even in a hurry to go back there. Atakama, my mansion is Kadot. I'm okay with it, as long as I'll have this experience forever, and I'll be with you. Then he looked at me, he smiled. I say, it's not yet time, but I just wanted you to have a glimpse. I said, oh man, let it be time. I don't mind. Let it be time. Then he said, no, Babra, it's not yet time. So I said, why? Why can't it be time? Then he took me to another place, and he pointed with his right hand. He put my hand on his other hand, and then he pointed. So I was like, mm-hmm. So I followed the point. So as he pointed, I saw my son. I was like, And then I have a preschool. I saw those two babies in uniform for my preschool, and they were seated round about where I was seated on the carpet, and I was reading Bible stories for them and telling them about Jesus. And they were really drawing and grasping. So I saw that. And then there's another angle of mine where I have a heart for children with special needs. Then God showed me the the children with special needs in my school. And I was hugging them and just loving on them. And so he looked at me and said, because of them, it's not yet time. I was like, get someone else, Let it just be time for me.
So that's how you came back.
Yeah, so he said, again, I tell you, Babra, because of them, it's not yet time. So I was like, yes, sir. Give me the grace. So I came back. Now we went back to where I met, where now we left the angel. Then the angel now took my hand again, and he said, I'm taking you back to where you were. So he took me back to the hospital bed. And when I woke up, it's like nothing had even happened. I was not sick. I'd never been sick. I've never been sick. I came out like the way you wake up and you're like, tunakula, something like that. So my cousin and my neighbor were like, you were leaving us, and now you look like you have just woken up. Then I saw my son was there. So he hugged me and said, I knew you'd come back. You haven't finished your work yet. And I'm like, dude,
so
how
now
do you know these
decided,
things?
post this thing, now to put it in a book.
So I wrote it. I wrote the experience down in my journal. I told you I love journaling. So after I wrote it down, I just kept it. I was like, that's an experience I would love to share one day with someone. I never even told the others what had happened. And I saw many other people. I saw my cousin in uniform. I saw my best friend. I was being her midwife. I was shown many people in my family, how they would be, what they would be, people I need to help and how I need to help them. Oh yeah, even when God was showing me the small babies, I have an outreach to children with incarcerated mothers in Kenyan prisons. I visit them twice a year. So he showed me a pregnant lady in prison, and I was like, that mission has to continue. So when I came back, I started thinking. So I knew this school must continue. I knew my son has a great destiny. I knew the children in prison, I have to keep taking care of them. And I knew the children with special needs have a special place in my heart. So that's what now I've been doing. So I've been doing that. Then now, 2 years later is when I'm writing the book after the experience. I just sat and I was like, I was going through my journal. It's like, let me see what God has been telling me, showing me, nini. Then I bumped into it and I was like, and then down there, I had written, after the experience, I'd written, one day I'll write this book and I'll call it Along Came God. And I was like, maybe that's why God is making me go through the journal. I just got into my computer. Along came God. And I wrote what I experienced. And then now in that book, I've added the mission that I have to the children in prison, the mission I have with the children with special needs. Yeah.
So tell me, because we only have about 6 minutes or so.
Okay. Time has gone quickly.
It's gone really quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
So many people out there who think, I could be an author, maybe I can write something, but they just haven't got to the point where they've been able to piece it together. What advice would you give to budding authors?
Budding authors, don't stop budding. become a real flower. Write it. Put it in paper. Whatever thoughts you have, put them down in paper. When you get a computer or a laptop, or even smartphones nowadays, start documenting it. Start putting it down. Put it down. Then look for a publisher, a printer, or call me and start seeing how you can make it into a book. And it will come to pass. It will definitely come to pass.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are afraid and thinking, books, authoring.
No, it's not that
expensive,
scary. It sounds expensive.
Vitu za madynasty.
But see, I'm a hustler.
Do you know I've been writing a book myself for
how many years now?
2
Maybe
years.
you told me that story from Kitambo.
2
I've
years,
been waiting
imagine.
to
I'm
publish
just
it for you, and you're still telling me.
I'm still
Till
writing.
today, you're still writing, and I'm like, can you not?
Until I'm so impressed. I mean, 6 books. I mean, who does that?
There's a lady who inspires me.
6 books is
Actually,
quite a feat.
when you ask
know.
that, there's a lady called
There's-
Dr. Funke.
Yeah.
She's a preacher in Nigeria. One time she was preaching and she said, I have just released my 73rd book. I was like, hey, whoa, 70 what? I was like, I have an inspirational here. So me, I'm still, my target is now to better that 73.
And she's still writing, though.
She's still writing.
She'll be at 89 when you're at 73.
Hey,
You
no,
need to like...
we shall be like this.
Huh?
You know, now at 73, she's relaxing. Me, I have pace to catch up.
Yeah.
Eh.
And I think there must be some fulfillment that comes with finishing one.
There is, especially when you see it. You know, before you publish it, it's just like a manuscript in your computer. You even bypass it.
Yeah.
You close that word quickly, your PDF page. You look at it and like, who will even read? Who will buy it? Who cares about this story anyway?
That's true. That's the worry people have. You know, people are thinking, sasa, kwanza siku hizi. Watu wa siku hizi, I mean, they have problems even getting through news for 30 minutes.
It's true. Concentration
Which is
span
many
is
things,
like this.
You know, so even a book. I mean, you write even a post on Facebook, and somebody
Instagram.
comments there and writes,
It's too long.
So you think...
It's true. There's a friend of mine who
So you
told me,
think a whole
Babra,
book-
if you ever have long forwards, kindly keep them to yourself.
People are very annoyed out there. They don't want long
But those
things.
are, it's like what you
know,
are saying.
there's-
What we hear is the one that crashes, not the aeroplanes that are still flying.
Yeah.
Eh.
Many are flying and getting safely.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day. And people are still buying private jets even.
Yes.
In COVID, people are still flying in and out. There's arrival, departure at the airport.
Yeah. I live near the airport.
So you've
I wake
seen
up to the sounds of takeoffs and landings.
Takeoffs and landings.
Yeah.
You can't even sleep properly. So there are very many people who read books. It's just that we don't know about them. They are waiting for your book, and then they buy it.
Amen to that.
Yeah. After the
Amen
tears
to
sorted
that.
out many of my bills. Many that I never even thought. I was thinking, guy.
Are you on social media? Where can people find you?
Instagram, Shanani Kids. Facebook, Shanani Kids. WhatsApp, do I need to give the number? WhatsApp number, only on WhatsApp, 0700 002797. 0700 002797. Especially if you want to publish a book, holla at me.
So you can,
Or if you want
or even as
the
advice.
testimony on how I got to heaven. And if I can just throw it in, every year I visit prisons twice, and I normally raise support for that. The only things I usually need: diapers, arimis, cotton wool. If I can just get those, I'm sorted, because I just handle the kids and clothes for kids. The 4 and below, because those are the children that God showed me I should take care of. So every year I go to different prisons to take care of the
That's what I mean.
kids.
See, how many have you been to now?
3. So this year I'm going to 2 more. Yeah. And it's been very rewarding. And eventually, my greater dream, if Abazu is watching, is to build daycare centers in the prisons. Because the only place they have that is Langata, courtesy of Faraja Foundation, who actually introduced me to the prisons
I know
ministry.
Faraja.
Yes. So actually, there's no skill that is wasted. I do fashion and design. I did fashion and design in college, and before I went to campus. So one time I was making an outfit for a client, and as we are talking, I asked her, by the way, what do you do? She tells me, I work for Faraja Foundation. I'm like, So I mediate people who are in prison so that I can help them to come out of prison and integrate with the world. Then I was like, okay, so how does that work? And she explained to me, and then I was like, is there anything somebody who's not in Faraja can do for the prisons apart from just food? Then she told me, we just finished a project. We built a daycare center for the kids in Langata. I was like, it hit. Like, like a bulb lit in me. So I went. That was my first place I went. And I found that day God gave us favor because the OCS was there, the one senior for welfare was there, and we went. So we were like, we visited them, and then I saw what a daycare center can do in the prisons. But it's the only one that has a daycare center. Naivasha, they gave me a place I can build. Said, when you are able, utajenga hapa, iyo yenye unataka. So all I need is funding or a contractor, somebody who we can run with the vision with, to build daycare centers, because the children are innocent. Yeah, but what I need is diapers, arimis, cotton wool, baby clothes. WhatsApp me, I'll tell you where to drop them.
They've had you. Thank you, Babra.
Thank you.
Babra Grace, or Grace Babra, Reverend.
Yeah.
6 books and going
and
on.
Counting.
Yeah, and counting.
I have many in my computer.
Talking to us about how she became an author and you know, her life story and how she has put it into books. So if you are somebody who wants to write, hey, start now.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah. Have a good day. This is 59 minutes. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with the lawsuit. See you tomorrow, God willing.